Pleasant day to everyone. In this video, I will be discussing theoretical perspectives that we can use as a lens in analyzing and dissecting different issues in culture and society. We will focus on reflecting on the question of, do schools have a role in maintaining and producing social patterns of inequality? To reflect on this question, we should be familiarized with at least these main perspectives in sociology: structural functionalism, conflict perspective, and symbolic interactionism. Structural functionalism asserts that structures of the society, social institutions, can only be defined by their relation to other structures, meaning we cannot really define a particular social institution or aspect of the society if we will not relate it to other aspects and parts of the society as well. As an analogy, whenever we hear the story of the princess and the witch, we can only define who the princess is if we relate it to who the witch is. The same with the prince and the same with the witch. We can say that the princess is the one being rescued by the prince, and the prince is the one who will rescue the princess from the witch. In this kind of analogy, we can see that characters of that fairy tale can only be defined by their relationship with other characters and not by their own qualities. We can always describe the witch as someone who is ugly, but being ugly does not really mean or uh, define that this character is the witch. We can always describe the prince as someone who is handsome, but being handsome is not a distinct quality of a prince, meaning a prince may not be handsome at times. And so, with this kind of perspective, we can only define things based on the relationship with others. And in a sociological lens, it means that we can only define social institutions in relation to their function to other social institutions as well. For example, we can define education in relation to how it functions to the family, to religion, to economy, and to politics and governance. We can only define economy in relation to how it functions to the family, to education, to governance, to religion. We can define religion in relation to how it functions to family, education, economy, and politics. Mainly, that's the assertion of structural functionalism. This theoretical perspective somehow put structures in our society by defining the function of social institution and relating it to one another. And likewise, it creates social pattern, meaning it creates expectations of what should be and how characters in the society or individuals in the society should function in relation to one another. This kind of social structure and social pattern created by the ideology of structural functionalism produce manifest functions and latent functions. Manifest functions are those expectations that we expect. I mean, these are functions that we expect from the things that from how we define social institutions and individuals in the society. These are our expectations from them. But there are also latent functions. These are unexpected functions uh, that are byproduct of how we define things in the society. And sometimes these unexpected functions create social dysfunctions, unwanted phenomena or unwanted events in our society, which means that in the process of making our society stable by defining the function of each individuals and each institutions in relation to one another. In the process of making that process to stabilize our society, there would be unexpected functions that could lead to unwanted effects, which are what we call social dysfunctions. On the other hand, we also have what we call conflict perspective. Conflict perspective builds on the idea of social class and power and dominance. The idea is that the society has a structure that produces patterns of inequality in the distribution of scarce resources. The conflict perspective suggests that there is a dominant group of people or a dominant ideology that structures our society. And there would always be hierarchy in terms of these ideologies and in terms of distribution of resources. Likewise, there would always be struggle and conflict between ideologies because those marginalized individuals, those marginalized ideologies would always want to be the dominant one to replace the one that is prevailing. And so society is being described in the conflict perspective as an endless struggle between ideologies to get power, dominance, and resources. And likewise, the conflict perspective would assert that there would always be hierarchy in the society. There would always be a dominant group of people in a dominant perspective that set the structures and the norms of the society. And once marginalized people, marginalized ideologies struggle and became triumphant and victorious towards the prevailing perspective and group of people, they would now be the dominant ideologies, and then there would still be marginalized people and there would still be marginalized ideologies as well. The last perspective is symbolic interactionism. The symbolic interactionism or the interactionist theories asserts that the way we make meanings are actually related to the patterns of inequality that are effects of functional structuralism and conflict perspective. Meaning the way we define things, the way we define our ideologies, the way we define love, peace, these are all linked to what is normalized by the existing and prevailing perspective, whether it's on a structural functional perspective or it is on a conflict perspective. The idea is that things are defined based on the prevailing and agreed uh, uh, ideologies and accepted ideologies of the dominant and prevailing group and ideas that structure and stabilizes our society. Going back to our main question, do schools have a role in maintaining and producing social patterns of inequality? Max Weber argues that schools teach and maintain particular status cultures, which refer to groups in society with similar interests and positions in the status hierarchy, which may imply that the ideas we teach in school could be ideas of the prevailing group. The ideas we teach in school, the ideas we propagate in school, we teach our students, would be the ideas of the prevailing status culture. And that would also imply that there are other perspectives. There are other group of people owning this perspective that could be marginalized because they don't have the representation in schooling as well. And this kind of discussion would really entail a close look of what's happening in our society, in school, and in different aspects of gender and of culture. Thank you.